Vinny bought the books on eBay. He bought the books. He bought the pens that the court had given them to take notes with. He got the juror's badge that he had to wear in court every day. And he got the certificate that the judge gave to the juror. Thank you for your service kind of thing. So Vinny let me look at all of those. And they were very, very revelatory. Yeah, it was clear to me that he was not buying anything this little boy said, or his brother, or his mother. The way he kept his notes, it was like, this kid is being very quiet. I don't like the way he's answering. He won't look at the defense attorney. He wrote down a lot of negative things about Gavin Arvizo, which I just thought were not very fair. If this was indeed a victimized, surviving cancer patient in front of him, he should have had a more open mind and a more compassionate heart. But from the get-go, he just didn't believe the kid, didn't believe the mother, believed Jackson's attorney that this family was just in it for the money, and they were trying to, take advantage of Michael Jackson.
Yeah, the grifters, But even if you are a grifter and your kid gets molested, that's what you are, and you're still a victim, It doesn't matter. You take your victim as they come,
Right. Well, boy, truer words were never spoken. Yeah. And, his mom and dad had done some crazy stuff. They had tried to shoplift some things from J.C. Penney at one time, and they ran out in the parking lot and got beaten up, and then they sued J.C. Penney. But that had nothing to do with this 12-year-old kid who's sitting there with, he has only one kidney. He's got stunted growth because he had such bad cancer. A kid can't control what his crazy parents did. And guess what kind of a family a pedophile targets?
Exactly.
It's a family with crazy parents.
Yeah, and people should go back and look at my little conversation with Aphrodite Jones on that very topic. I think you'll find it interesting. Now, let's move on. Now, what about...
it's funny about Aphrodite. She sat next to me during the trial many, many days, and she kept whispering loudly in my ear, he's so guilty, he's so guilty.
Really?
And I was like, Aphrodite, you're supposed to be unbiased. Please don't sit near me. Please lower your voice. And then she writes a book about how innocent Michael Jackson was. It was like, okay, I don't really get where she's coming from, but I didn't read the book, and I understand she has not nice things to say about me.
Oh, I didn't catch her mention. She didn't say nothing bad about you in front of me. Trust me on that. But I had her on the show, and we had our little differences there. But this guy Amen, he's kind of come around. What about these other famous folks like Uri Geller and Shmuley Butak and these kind of guys? Have any of these guys had a change of heart after watching Leaving Neverland and stuff like that?
Boy, you ask good questions, Ed. They're nowhere to be found, are they?
That's true.
We just had the 10-year anniversary of the King of Pop's death. And even if you think Michael Jackson is guilty of child molestation, you have to admit he's one of the most talented people that ever walked the face of the earth. And not a peep from any of these people. Quincy Jones, who made all these record-breaking albums with him, Stevie Wonder, not a word from it. Diana Ross, Berry Gordy. Nobody says a word now about Michael Jackson.
Al Sharpton. You don't hear him saying
Al Sharpton. Yeah, Shmuley Boteach, the rabbi here, who, depending on what day you got him, either said nice things about Jackson or not so nice things. The Hollywood and the music industry and the acting industry is full of lots of insincere people, in my opinion.
Yeah, the news business too,
and the news business, yep. Yeah, and journalism and publication, sure. Yeah, the world.
I feel I'm being selfish because I have my own questions, and the audience might even not know a lot of stuff I'm talking about, but I got you here. There were some young men who were children, friends of Michael Jackson, 2 young boys. They were from New Jersey. Their father was in the music industry. Then when they became adults, they went to work for Jackson. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I think you're talking about Frankie and Eddie Cascio.
Yes. Whatever happened became of them?
Their dad actually was not in the music business. He worked for a big, fancy hotel in Manhattan where Jackson used to stay. And Jackson told him, the father, think his name was Aldo. I can't remember his first name, but anyway, Mr. Casio Sr. told Jackson one time when he checked in to the Helmsley Palace, "Oh, my sons love you." And Jackson said, "I'd like to meet them." So he did. And in the ensuing years, Jackson, I have not confirmed this, but the story is that Jackson gave Mr. Casio money to open up a restaurant in New Jersey. It's out here in Franklin Lakes, New Jersey. And I visited it one time. And there on the walls were the pictures of these two sons of his with Michael Jackson. Now, why did I go there? I'll tell you why. In 1993, August, we break the story that Michael Jackson is wanted for questioning as possibly being a child molester. He leaves town because he's going on a tour. I think it was the dangerous tour, the bad tour, one of the tours. And he's in Mexico. So we get in video footage from Mexico where there's Michael Jackson. He's walking down the street, and he's walking down the street with two little boys. And they have black fedoras on, just like Jackson does, and they have red jackets on, just like Jackson does. And then I notice one of the little boys has a T-shirt underneath. And I said to the video editor, zoom in on that. And it said, Aldo's Restaurant, Franklin Lakes, New Jersey. Now, I'm in California. I get on a plane, I go to Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, and I go into the restaurant, and there, on the hallway leading back to the bathrooms, are all these photographs of these two boys with Michael Jackson. So I asked the waitress behind the bar, what's up here? Oh, yeah, she said the owner, that's his kids, and he's at home over here on such and such a street. So I went over to such and such a street, rang the front doorbell, and talked to the mother and father of Frankie and Eddie Casio, and I said, are your boys alone with Michael Jackson in Mexico? Do you understand that he's just been, the allegation against him? And they said, oh, yeah. No, they travel with him all the time. Everything's fine. No problem. And until the day Michael Jackson died, Frankie Casio worked with him. Frank Casio is the one who convinced his friend from school, Vinny Amen, to come out to California to work for Jackson.
That's where I recognize the name. That's where I recognize the name. Thank you so much.
It's all tied in together, and it's kind of like the Epstein thing, mm-hmm. I know you work for me. Can you recruit some other people to come to Neverland? Can you know any other little boys? Same sort of thing that Epstein did with the girls.
I hope the average listener can appreciate the amount of work involved in something like that. You see a T-shirt, you hop on a plane, you go into it's not something, she recites it to you, bop, 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 but this is a lot of work, man. This is a full-time job. This is no joke.
Well, thank you for saying that, because, the Jackson fans think I sit at home and I make this stuff up. And you know what it takes, just the shoe leather to go out and talk to people and understand and look at the evidence yourself and put two and two together. And, geez, you look up, it could be a full-time job, huh?
Yeah, that's so true. No, but we're out of time. I got to beg you to come back, man. But what do you want to leave us with?
Oh, I want to leave it with your listeners to understand that a pedophile can be anybody, anywhere, at any time. And if you have children, if you have grandchildren, don't be stupid and think to yourself, oh, that guy wants to take the kid and, go camping overnight. It's okay. He's a great guy. Question everything, because pedophiles are great guys and they're great gals. And then they do really bad things to your children. So I just want people to open their eyes to understand you can have had a bad childhood, you can give a lot of money to charity, you can do really good works with children and still be a molester. So let's just keep our kids safe. That's the bottom line.
Diane Dimond, thank you so much. Anything you ever want to promote, you want to come on the show, you have an open door here. You're welcome to come back anytime. I'm going to nag you to come back, of course. The audio book is Be Careful Who You Love. Creators Syndicate is her column. She got a podcast. Just keep an eye out for that. And I guess it's better, DianeDimond.com.
Hey, thanks, Ed. Anytime you want me, you give me a call. I'll come back.
And I won't even have to go through Dan or Hanks. I'll go to you directly. I'll go through your husband.
Now you got my email, right?
I got to go through your husband who's screening my calls. Okay.
And if you're interested in the 4 new chapters updating the book entirely, you can get it on Amazon.com audiobooks or Audible.com.
Diane Dimond, thank you so much.
Thanks, Ed. Bye-bye.
Good night. Oh, boy. Diane Dimond. I love that woman. And what a talent, man. And what a professional investigator, reporter, man. I tell you, you guys really got to appreciate when you're talking to somebody and you hear the details of what they're going through and how they're doing the work. And by the way, I just want to throw one last thing, too, is, when Roger Stone was headlined in the news, and they had a 24-hour news cycle on Roger Stone, why didn't they stop and ask Al Sharpton about, hey, what about your relationship with Roger Stone? Wasn't he your campaign manager, Mr. Sharpton? But it's just, even the news, she talks about how the entertainment business, they have their agenda going on, but the news does too. This whole Epstein thing, been kept quiet for years. When I was talking about this, no one knew the name Epstein when I started talking about this. And I never thought that this would be a 24-hour news story. And now it's a 24-hour news story reporting stuff I was talking about 4 years ago? Give me a break, man. Miami Herald. Slowly I turn. You can't, Miami Herald. That's going to be my new trigger word, man. I'm going to go nuts whenever I hear Miami Herald. Anyway, I want to thank Diane Dimond again. The book is called Be Careful Who You Love. And there's a 4-section audio book available. They're updating it, so check it out at Amazon.com. It'll be available in our bookstore. I want to welcome all the new listeners at KCAA, AM/FM in California, KYAH 540 AM in Utah, and all around the world, the internet, iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com. You can get all my archives, my old shows. We have a previous show we did with Diane Dimond, where we talk about this whole case, 2 hours long. We go over every little detail in the Gavin and Shorty Chandler case, all that stuff you've never heard anywhere else, by the way, too, because we get compliments about that show all the time. And it's at my Spreaker channel, OperaReport.com. You go there, you sign up for free, you follow the show. You can just use Facebook to click right in and follow and sign up. It does it automatically for you. Then right away you follow Opperman Report. Anytime I do a show, you get an email update. There's a chat room in there, and you can find all my old archives for free. But there's also a member section where we have shows that are just exclusive to members only. Now, in that members section, I didn't just upload it. What am I talking about? You will find in there, okay, that it's been in there for about 3 years, a 23-page letter exclusive to the Opperman Report of Jeffrey Epstein's attorneys negotiating with the prosecutors, saying Jeffrey Epstein was responsible for creating the Clinton Foundation. Okay? That's not new news. That's not breaking news. It's not reported news anywhere. But you can find the actual letter written by an old buddy of mine, Jerry Lefcourt. You can find that in my members section there at OppermanReport.com. Also, there's a golf magazine that we scanned, thanks to John Brisson. We scanned it, and it describes an eyewitness account, again, years ago, of a gentleman who was writing a story about Mr. Trump, and he met Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and flying on Donald Trump's airplane, and in tow with them was a little teenage girl. Okay? So, guys, the stuff underreported, unreported on that story. I'm about to deliver some big revelations about that soon. And what do you call it? But there's a lot more going on that you've seen on the news, 24-hour news coverage. We're repeating a lot of stuff I was talking about 4 or 5 years ago. Okay, there's a lot more stuff that in my members section, in my shows, on Spreaker. Google Opperman Epstein. You'll find a ton of information that no one's talking about. And thank you once again, Diane Dimond. Sorry, I lost my temper there at the end. Diane Dimond, Be Careful Who You Love. There's a previous show we did together. Check that out. It's gold. Okay, everyone loves it. And her book is excellent. And now this audio book available on Audible or Amazon and the Opperman Report bookstore. You can check that out, too, as well, with all this great new content. What a sweetheart. And a credible reporter, man. Really, really talented work. So thank you so much, Dan O'Hanks. Okay, buddy? And thank you again, Diane Dimond. Good night.